Years old. Now geologists had a new mystery to solve, discovering why the Colorado River took the path it did some 5.5 million years ago, and why it carved a canyon of such remarkable dimensions. The investigation into the history of the Grand Canyon has uncovered a 1.7 billion year old landscape that has evolved from ancient mountains through to the Colorado Plateau. 5.5 million years ago, the Colorado River began carving out the Grand Canyon from this plateau. The question scientists now had to answer was what happened at that time to cause the river to dig deep and carve out the canyon. It is a debate that has been going on for more than a century, and which continues today.
I got interested in the Grand Canyon when I went to school and started studying, and I heard about the different ideas associated with the Grand Canyon and was just blown away when I found out we did not understand how the Grand Canyon formed. Something as iconic as the Grand Canyon wasn't understood, just seemed crazy to me, and so basically decided to dedicate a large portion of my life to trying to figure it out.
One theory is that several ancient rivers merged and their combined cutting power started digging out the canyon. Another assumes that the river cut down into the plateau as the land uplifted around it. But John Douglas has his own theory, one that has gained respect among many leading geologists since he first published his ideas in 2000. What Douglas calls his spillover theory seems to work well on paper.
Spillover is incredibly easy. All it means is the Colorado River poured into a basin. When it poured into that basin, it had to form a lake. And this lake was huge. All that lake had to do was rise and then spill across the plateau. It poured down, cutting rapidly, and over time you would have ended up with the beginnings of Grand Canyon very quickly.
At his college campus in Phoenix, Douglas is building a scale model experiment to see if his spillover theory actually works in real life. He sculpts tons of dirt into a model of the Colorado Plateau. Running faucets represent the flow of the Colorado River into the ancient lake.
Now we have our large lake.
The water's getting higher, it's getting ready to spill across.
We have a tiny little trickle of water pouring down off the lake. That little tiny trickle of water doesn't seem like much,
But over time, that little bit of water flowing down that steep slope is going to gain energy. It's going to start cutting, making waterfalls that work their way back.
one waterfall has now reached the lake. You can see that we have just released a significant amount of water, much more water than was previously pouring down. Now we have huge canyon cutting. Landslides are sloughing off the side of the canyon walls, the water flushing it downstream. The lake, you can see that it's starting to shrink in size. That lake is getting lower. And right there, you can see that we've cut our own small-scale version of the Grand Canyon.
Douglas's experiment proves that the spillover theory works in miniature. But he needs evidence to show that it could have happened on an infinitely bigger scale.